Welcome back to Politics Tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is where we dig beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am joined by the Commissioner for Information and Communication in Plateau State, Musa Ibrahim Ashoms, tonight to discuss in Plateau State and security and politics. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ashoms.
Thank you very much for having me, Olajumoke.
Right. So let's start this conversation with how the administration has fared in the last 100 days. How will you describe the journey so far?
The journey, we give God the glory for the opportunity to serve Plateau State, for the opportunity to lead Plateau State to glory. We've had daunting challenges. We've surmounted some of them. We're in the process of surmounting some of them. And of course, the governor of Plateau State, the man whose mandate we ride upon, His Excellency Barrister Caleb Mutfwang, is up to task. He has paraded lieutenants that will help him achieving this dream. Governance is not easy. We are not empowered to complain. We are empowered to provide succor to our people. We are empowered to give our people a greater direction, a better direction. We're empowered to give our people the dividends of democracy. We thank them for the opportunity to serve them, and we are doing that with utmost respect. We are doing that with all the energy that we deserve to put in governance. We are bringing a new vibe, a new zest, vigor, vitality, and energy. And we've had our challenges, but glory to God, and thanks to the great people of Plateau State, and especially the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for mobilizing the Nigerian military to go to Jos, where we had crisis in Mangu, and even the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurit Lagbaja, was in Mangu, where the Operation Hakorenda Misa was established. You recall that in the early days of our administration, the governor paid a visit to His Excellency, the President of this country, and he laid bare our issues. And he also visited the service chiefs, starting with the Chief of Defense Staff, and even the DSS. Today, an hour ago in Jos, the governor reiterated the fact that we have enjoyed this cordial relationship from the center, and we hope that more will be done, because we still have pockets of insecurity on the plateau. Our dream, our aspirations as a government is to nip this cancerous behavior in the bud, is to make sure that our people wake up hale and hearty, and they go to sleep without fear of being annihilated, without the fear of being killed, without the fear of losing their livelihoods. So we thank the Lord. So far so good. The journey has been great, with some challenges naturally, but we are up to the task. Like I told you, the governor is up and doing. He came ready. He came very, very ready mentally, spiritually, and physically. And we thank the people for trusting us with this mandate. If you watched the antecedents, the things that happened, there has never been a governor whose victory was greeted with the kind of celebrations that the Caleb Mutfwang government enjoyed from the people. So we'll not take it for granted. We'll burn candles to make sure that our people get the dividends of democracy. We'll have sleepless nights we've been having. We're not complaining. We asked for the job. We are equal to the task, and we'll deliver.
Right. So talking about a relationship between government and the people, how will you describe it?
It's been cordial. We have enjoyed their magnanimity. We have enjoyed their solidarity. We have enjoyed their support. And we don't take it for granted. We are going to do everything within our powers, within our reach, even outside the box, to make sure that our people enjoy governance. Plateau is a great state. If you recall, in the past, a lot of Europeans stayed on the plateau. But because of our experiences and our challenges, a lot of them have exited the state. So we're trying to create an ambience where people will enjoy the clement weather of Plateau, the peaceful relationship, the peaceful coexistence, the harmonious relationship that people can have, so that the economic activities of our state will be boosted, so that the things we are known for, peace and tourism, will be heightened, will be magnified. So the government is trying to create an ambience where the microeconomic activities will thrive, where we will have new industries coming to Plateau. That's why we've engaged a lot of private actors to see how we can collaborate with them to bring an industrial revolution on the Plateau.
Right, but would you say expectations are so high considering the enormous challenges on ground?
When we came in Jumoke, the expectations are so high. Looking at the person of Barrister Caleb Manasseh Muftuang, he's a man who is gentle to a fault. He's a lawyer and solicitor of the Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A lot of people know that his background as someone in the private sector, one who has worked with Peugeot Automobile Nigeria, one who has been a local government chairman in Plateau State, Mangu precisely, one who understands Plateau from cover to cover, one who, if Plateau were a book, will say he has read it over and over, cover to cover, one who understands governance, one who understands the kind of lieutenants to parade for dreams to be achieved, for manifestos to be delivered, for expectations to be met. That is the kind of person we have in the helms of affairs. So a lot of people have high expectations, and we're praying that the Almighty God, He started giving us the wherewithal to carry this daunting task, and we pray that we'll continue to enjoy the people's support and solidarity, and at the end of the day, set new records, set new tracks, because Plateau is in their need of development. Plateau is begging for development, and we're in the right place to put to reset the foundation, to revamp the thinking, to give our people a new orientation, to show our people that governance is possible. If you know where Kigali, Rwanda was in 1994, and if you go lately, you know that there is governance, physical governance. You know that President Paul Kagame has done a lot. So why shouldn't we be given examples at home, homestead examples? Why shouldn't we look at governors in Nigeria and say the state was in comatose, but they have revived it. The state was on the oxygen, but today the state is working freely. Just like most states in Nigeria, we have had our challenges, but we'll surmount them. We're appealing to our citizens, our neighbors, our friends, the federal government, to work in tandem with the state so that we'll change the ugly narrative, so that we'll change this narrative and bring a beautiful one. Plateau is a bride in this country. It's a beautiful bride at that. So there is a need for Nigerian state to save Plateau State.
So having said that, the governor has been accused of playing politics with the representation of the people. To be very specific, Honorable Member Yusuf Gagdi was here last week accusing the governor of sidelining PDP senators and House of Rep members. How would you react to that?
And the man that brought those accusations, if you know his history, go check the Vanguard newspaper of 7th April 4th April 2017. You will know his history. He was impeached by his colleagues, 18 out of 24, and they said he's autocratic. They said he doesn't carry people along. If you go back to history, he was financial secretary of the PDP on the Plateau. Send your reporter back home to do an investigative journalism. You will know the kind of person he is. You know, when people have an opportunity to come to the national television, they should state the obvious. They should say things the way they are. You shouldn't take advantage of the platform that you have to begin to display your verbal diarrhea on national TV. You see, this governor is one man that has carried everybody along. The DG, Director General, Research, Statistics and Documentation, Government House, Plateau State, is a blind man. It tells you that we carry along people living with disabilities. In the State House of Assembly, in the State Executive Council, I am 43. I have 5 younger ones in that cabinet. A lot of people think I am young, but I have 5 younger ones in the cabinet. And we have 4 women. We have all the religions on the Plateau in that government, in this government. And we don't discriminate. It's a government that carries everybody along. So you see, when he came here and he was reeling out that he was not carried along, even when he contested for the speakership of Nigeria, is it for him to be divisional? When you have gotten to that level, your age does not count anymore because you are a stakeholder, you are a shareholder in this country. You should be careful about the things you say on national TV. This is a governor that carries everybody along. He has been coming to Jos. Has he ever paid homage to the governor? Has he ever said, okay, I'm your representative in Abuja and I've come home to tell you what I've done so far? It's unfair that we have national TV, then we become combative. we begin to say things that are far from the truth. I wouldn't engage him in such because I speak for Plateau State, and Plateau State is known for its peaceful disposition. But if people choose buffoonery over being statesmen, it is up to them. I don't want a situation whereby if you have an access to national TV, you come and say whatever you feel like saying. And this is a man that wanted to be Speaker of the House of Representatives, number 4 or number 5 in the country. You should behave statesmanly. This governor carries everybody along. When they come and they say these things, ask them for the facts. Because you belong to another political party, you shouldn't say things this way. In the past, this man would have spoken about the APC in this manner. He was of the PDP, in case you do not know. He abandoned the mandate that the PDP gave him and went to the APC. Today, because the government at the center is APC, he's just been talking like a broken record. We shouldn't go that way. This governor carries everybody along. But if you have oppositions, they say things like that. Imagine that the First Lady of Nigeria, the most politically exposed First Lady in the history of Nigeria since its amalgamation in 1914, Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, bringing 500 million naira to Plateau State to give to people who were affected by one pogrom, annihilation, ethnic cleansing, or whichever name you want to give it, all of it negative. And she says to 500 families. And the chairman of APC on the Plateau didn't complain. He was there. I heard him say on TV that he's the spokesperson of APC on the Plateau. He even became the spokesperson of the Judiciary. The judgment that was passed on the Plateau, he came here and he was reeling out wrong figures. If you ask me, I can then say the things that really, really happened on the Plateau. Because he left the PDP. He does not know the PDP better than we do.
Ashoms,
If you check the case in the presidential electoral petition, they said these people are meddlesome interlopers.
Ashoms,
I don't know whether it's an interloper or an antelope for him to jump into our issues. As a party, we have our internal resolution mechanisms, and we made use of them.
Mr. Ashoms, we'll come back to that particular issue. And I would like to say in the course of this conversation, I would like you to stay away from name-calling and unpleasant words. Right, so let's move on. The tribunal sacked 4 PDP National Assembly members from Plateau State over invalid nomination. How is the party and the government taking this setback?
It's very, very sad. I'll give you an example. For example, in Jos South, Jos East, Honorable Bagos defeated his closest rival with 59,000 votes. If you join the votes of the 2 rivals, Labour Party and the APC, mind you, the APC didn't come second in that election, it came third. The Labour Party came first and second. If you put their votes together, 36,000 and 26,000, it's not close to Honorable Bagos. And we have lawyers. We've had to do congresses over and over because we wanted to fix our house. The APC government on the Plateau wanted the PDP to be in disarray because the people have passed a vote of no confidence on them. That is why the difference between General A.V.M. Napoleon Bali and the former governor of Plateau State, Right Honorable Simon Bakola Long, was 57,000. As a sitting governor, he was defeated with that margin. It tells you that there's something colossally wrong. Then again, if you go to Lantern North, Lantern South, where Ben Ilar and Vincent contested election, the gap was close to 20,000. The people made their declarations. The court cannot change it. If you come to Barikilla Diriyom, the closest was 4,000 between Peter Gendeng and the Labour Party man. Now, Justice S.P. Gang ordered for a repeat Congress. And in September 2021, in Langfield, Rayfield, Jos, Plateau State, the PDP had a Congress, and that was dutifully monitored by INEC. The security agencies were also there. They monitored all this process. And at the end of the day, Honorable Chris Adukuchili Hassan emerged. The same Congress was affirmed by Federal High Court in Jos in a judgment delivered by Honorable Justice D.V. Agishi, validating the Chris Hassan-led State Executive Council of the PDP. Again, the Just Division of the Court of Appeal in an unanimous judgment in the 11th of February 2023, led by Justice T.Y. Hassan, Justice I.A. Andenyanso, and Justice O.O. Goodluck, all ruled in favor of the PDP that the PDP has structure. Those that are saying we do not have structure, it's not their political party. We have a structure. Our structure, they can't pay. So if you are looking for a way of winning election, talk to the people during elections. They will vote for you. But you cannot come and steal people's mandate. That law and that judge, before him, the INEC testified that the PDP has structures. But you know, different strokes for different folks. In the same Plateau state, the member representing Kwampan Shandam Mikang under the same PDP, another tribunal ruled that there was a structure. In the same Plateau state, in the same high court compound vicinity, just Tribunal 1 and 2, the same just not Basa Musa Aga of the PDP was said to have been nominated, had valid nomination. In the same Plateau state in Tribunal, the NNPP took the governor of Plateau state to court and they threw it out for lack of merit. So you begin to ask, are we not confusing students in law school? Shouldn't the National Judicial Council, professors of law, senior lawyers, sit down in this country and look at the laws of this land again? Once people make their choices, allow them sink with it or float with it.
Mr. Ashoms, if you're saying PDP has or had a structure, why were these evidences not presented before the tribunal?
Why was well?
If you're saying PDP has or had structure in Plateau State, why were the evidences not presented before the tribunal?
Evidence was presented. That was why I called the other local governments that their representatives have not been sacked by the courts. INEC came and said we have a structure because security agencies and INEC monitored the congresses in Jos. In the interest of peace, in case you do not know Jumoke, the national vice chairman of PDP at some point was asked to go back home and become acting chairman. The state organizing secretary at one point was asked to act as the chairman. Because we had issues, we cannot say there were no issues, but there are internal wranglings. So we used alternative dispute resolution mechanisms to resolve them. And when Justice Kunda of the Plateau State High Court sacked us and didn't allow us to be part of the House of Assembly election because a party man wrote on a letterhead that there was no justice in the elections. And because PLASEC knew that if we continued with the election with the PDP, a lot of local government will be lost. So in order to not to disgrace the ruling party and the governor, they said we didn't have a structure. We agreed. And they became local government chairmen. But Justice SP Gang of Plateau High Court said, you don't have a structure, do another Congress. And we complied with that court ruling. And in September 2021, there were congresses in Jos. Your TV station reported it. Other TV stations, television stations reported it. They're in the newspaper. The losers hawked the winners. The winners hawked the losers. Oh, there were no losers because it was a home affair. Those that couldn't win.
All right, Mr. Ashoms.
Hawked those that won.
PDP has vowed to appeal. The PDP has vowed to appeal. But how would you react to some analysts who have said the party will just be chasing shadows?
I didn't hear the last part of your question.
I said the PDP has vowed to appeal the situation, but how would you react to some analysts who have said the party will just be chasing shadows?
Everybody has a way they see things. You know, when you write 3, somebody sees M, somebody sees W, somebody sees E. So everybody has his perspective. But the merit of the matter is what we are looking at. We are looking at Plateau as a PDP state. You know, there are states in this country that had remained with the opposition until they came into power, like Yobe, Lagos, and Borno. Nobody ever changed whatever their decisions were. So you allow Plateau people to decide on what they will do. There was a referendum, the election, and the people went with the PDP. So the courts are not a determiner of the votes. In election matters, there are 3 persons that are involved: the electorate, the umpire, and the courts. All of them must be fair. All of them must be seen to be fair. So if the people make their choices, you allow them go with it. Whether they are floating or they are sinking, it is up to them.
So let's talk about harassment of the judiciary, especially criticisms of court verdicts. Don't you think the PDP is towing that line with criticism of the tribunal judgment on PDP lawmakers?
Olajumoke, I don't know why I can barely hear you. Can you repeat the question again, please?
Right. I'm asking you I want you to talk about harassment of the judiciary, especially criticism of court verdicts. So don't you think the PDP is towing that line with criticism of the tribunal judgments on PDP lawmakers?
There's nothing wrong when you are aggrieved for you to speak out. It is expression, it is a constitutional right, freedom of expression. So if your right is being trampled upon, you should just keep quiet, you should just allow it go. We're in a democracy, okay? Let people not come and threaten people or subtly make you go back to your shell because this is what they feel. You know, our governor is a lawyer. Our governor was called to the Nigerian bar, I think, between 1989 or 1991. So he's a senior member of the bar. He knows these things. He wouldn't just waste his time and contest under the PDP when we're going through this. There are a lot of people that have taken us to court, wanted to be deputy governor under this same flag, under this same platform. But today, when you hear them speak, you'll just be surprised. Nobody is harassing any judge. They are doing their work. And as politicians, you cannot take my mandate and you allow me, and I'll just keep quiet. How will I contest an election and the gap between me and you is 59,000? Go to some local governments, go to some senatorial districts. Their senators didn't come with that vote. Talk more of calling it the gap. That's the difference between you and them. Like I said, Air Vice Marshal Napoleon Bali defeated a sitting governor with 57,000 votes. And that governor has resigned to fate. He has even gone to look for a job in Abuja. Today he's the Minister of Labor and Employment. And somebody will just come in the courts of law and say you do not have a structure, so therefore you should go. Election matters have dates that they go to court. If there is a pre-election matter, you have 14 days to go to court. From swearing in till date, how many days? We have celebrated 100 days already. So it is meddlesome interloper, as the Presidential Election Tribunal has called it. So we wouldn't just sit down and be quiet when our mandate is being stolen, when somebody is rigging our mandate. We cannot keep quiet, Jumoke. Whatever name they want to call it, we cannot keep quiet. We've not called anybody's name
so
to say
if you are to relate this,
but the mandate that our people have given us must be protected.
Right. So if you're to relate what is happening in Plateau State with Ndidi Elumelu, whose election has been overturned by the Court of Appeal, I mean, analysts say this may befall other lawmakers in Plateau State.
Ndidi Elumelu is not from Plateau. His matter is different from ours. There are other elections too that PDP were declared. For example, Kogi Central, the senator representing that place, they've obtained his election, and Natasha Akpoti-Eduagan has been declared. So if they go to appeal court, if that is sustained, that is great. If it is not, what can we do? But the Elumelu matter is different from ours. We know that our own case will be obtained because the law in Nigeria is one. The law in Nigeria respects itself because you cannot have this gap. For example, people know that Plateau is PDP. That was why they wanted to offset the party. They wanted to bring crisis within. But because the PDP knows that the people trust her, they worked hard. And we had close to 3 or 4 congresses on the Plateau, in case you do not know Jumoke, just to have our house in order. So when they have access to national TV, they come and say structureless. We shouldn't be talking about structure now. The idea of structure has been overruled by events.
So, I mean, tell us the situation with the State House of Assembly. How many members have you lost so far?
The cases have not been concluded. So we're still counting the judgments. The cases have not been concluded.
Right. So let's talk about insecurity and wanton killings in Plateau State. What's the situation in the state now?
To God be the glory. The situation has gone very, very down. We pray that it will be better. There's more room for improvement. We are hoping that in the coming days and coming years, we'll have the Plateau, the jobs that we used to have in the past, where people live and they allow others to live. But the situation is we don't even know the reason behind these killings. In the wake of in the late night, you just see people being killed. And you ask, where do they get this orientation from? When they kill, who gives them the laurels or the booties? Why would you just come and take the life of a fellow human being? Who are your teachers? Who are your preachers? Where do you get this kind of bad teaching from? This satanic behavior, this cancerous behavior. Our dream, our wish, our prayer is that we will live in peace, is that we will have a Plateau that is prosperous, a Plateau that is free for all and sundry, a Plateau where everybody goes about their businesses without intimidation, with their molestations, without the fear of losing your life or livelihood. Our prayer is, we hope that as it has gone down, because these days you hear about kidnapping left, right, and center. in just East local government area, which is not known with all this pogrom. These days it is kidnapping. In the forest there, we heard that people are gathering with ammunition. I don't know why. So the governor has called on security in the state to make sure that this behavior does not continue. You know, if you have non-state actors having guns and wielding their power uncontrollably, you will continue to have this. When people don't when people are not punished for these behaviors, they will continue. So we are praying and hoping and asking and pleading and calling and admonishing the federal government, especially the security agencies, to doubly redouble their efforts so that we will not continue to have this kind of pogrom in our societies. It's not just Plateau. Once you have peace and tranquility and harmonious coexistence, these issues will not come up. And the reality is that we are trying to revamp our state-owned security outfit, which is called Operation Rainbow. It was there before Omotekun and Ebubeagu, but in the last 8 years, it has gone to somehow sleep, but we're trying to reawaken it. We are hoping that our people will decide on their own to live in peace, and those that come from outside to attack us will understand that we don't owe them anything. Our land is given to us by God. He gave it to our forefathers.
All right, Mr. Ashoms.
If you want land, you should negotiate.